As of recently, there have been reports that the Mavs have sniffed around about a potential Kristaps Porzingis trade, and they wanted to know what Porzingis' value was according to Jake L. Fisher. I think that's his name. If I mispronounced it, my fault. But Mark Cuban has responded to this report and has said the rumors are not true and it's completely false. So he has defended it. He has defended the organization and said, no, we aren't shopping Kristaps Porzingis. But would it be a smart move for the Dallas Mavericks to trade Kristaps Porzingis, in your opinion?
Personally, at this point in time, I would say no, just because I think they would be selling really low on him. He's not having a terrible season if you look at the numbers, but he has been pretty bad since coming back from that injury, and I do think the injury had a lot to do with it. I would like to give him some time to see if he can get back to form. I mean, we've seen what Kristaps Porzingis can be when he was with the Knicks, and in his earlier days with the Mavericks, he was really solid. So if he can get back healthy, he's a solid running mate for Luka, and I think their play styles play well with each other. You know, defensively, they're going to need some help around them if these are your two building blocks for the future, but you can figure that out if both of them are playing at their best level. Being that he's only 25 years old, injuries are a major concern. There's no question about that. But if you can get Kristaps Porzingis to get back to what he was, then you have one of the best duos in the league moving forward for the next couple of years. And I think if you move on from him right now, like I said, you'd be selling low on a guy who can be a really big-time asset in the current NBA, the way he can stretch out and shoot the ball at 7'3". So right now I wouldn't move on from him just because I don't think they would get his value back in a deal. And I don't think they're in any rush right now. I mean, who knows what Luka's thought process is. You know, eventually his rookie deal is going to end, and you know, he's going to have to judge if he thinks the Mavericks has done a good enough job surrounding him with talent. But I don't think that they're in any rush to be contending. And you have a guy who's 25 years old in Kristaps Porzingis. These two guys can grow together. And I think it would be a little bit short-sighted to move on from Kristaps right now.
Are you inciting that Luka could potentially leave the Mavericks?
I don't think he would, but I'm just saying I'm saying I don't think he will. Especially, I don't think it's contingent on Kristaps. I think they've shown enough they're trying to build around him. I don't think this is a LeBron James situation where they're hanging him out to dry in his time here. So, you know, I think you have two really good young guys here. Give him some time. If Kristaps gets hurt again, then maybe it's a different story and you need to start to reconsider your plans. But I think you have a good building block here with these two guys.
Two teams that have interest in trading for Kristaps that I've seen so far, because I know there are more than two teams, but from what I've seen, have been the Washington Wizards and the Golden State Warriors. Of course, if there's a trade with the Wizards, they would probably want Bradley Beal in return, Porzingis for Beal. I guess it depends on who you ask. You know, you could like or not like that trade. But personally, for me, I came up with my own trade. I was on a trade machine playing around with it. Bertans right now cannot be traded because I think you have to wait a little bit, but he will be available to be traded soon.
I think it's like March.
Yes, and the contracts do match. But this is my potential trade. Kristaps Porzingis to Washington for Rui Hachimura, Davis Bertans, and maybe Deni Avdija. You'd be getting a sharpshooter in Bertans, a guy who can slash in Rui, and Avdija, a really young player who can turn into something.
If you could get Denny too, I don't hate that deal just because you get three really solid pieces, two of them being young pieces that can develop. I don't hate that deal. I would like that personally better than a deal that would include Bradley Beal just because I don't love the Bradley Beal-Luka fit.
Or even it could be Rui, Bertans, Troy Brown Jr., and a first-round pick. I mean, Washington would have Westbrook, Beal, and Kristaps, which sounds really great on paper, but if Kristaps does get hurt and they have a top pick, that top pick would be going to Dallas, and in this loaded draft class, having a top pick can really turn your franchise around, and you're not committed to a bunch of money in Kristaps. You have a young guy in Rui and Bertans, who is one of the better shooters in the league. I mean, I don't think they should do it, but I think it would, that would be a good offer. But then you look at Golden State, the best offer for them is trading Wiggins and Minnesota's first-round pick, which is highly coveted since they are the worst team in the NBA. But I don't think I'd want Wiggins. Personally, I know he's been playing better, but I think he's playing better mostly because he's in Golden State. If he were to go to Dallas, I don't know how much I don't know how good he'd be. But right now, the Mavericks are 15-15. They're 9th in the Western Conference. They have won 6 of their last 7, and Kristaps has only missed 2 of those games. So he's been a part of this win streak. And Kristaps, in the month of February, has been averaging 23, 8, shooting 50% from the field and 42% from 3. So he's been a big part of why the Dallas Mavericks have started to win. And I don't think that it would be smart to trade him. The only reason why you trade Kristaps is because you're super concerned about his injuries. That's about it. But everything else, nah. I like Kristaps. I still think he can be a top player in this league. He just has to remain healthy, but that's the biggest concern with him.
Yeah, I agree. I think that a lot of his struggles as of late, a lot of his struggles this season have come from coming off an injury. And you look at the best guys in the league coming off injuries struggle when they first get back. It's tough to come back from an injury. So I would definitely be on the side of giving him time rather than making a move, especially the pick would be great. The Timberwolves pick would be great, but I don't think that Wiggins would play as well in Dallas as he is in Golden State. I think that system is making him look much better than he is. So I would stick with Porzingis. I like these two together for years to come.
Yeah, I like it too, not only because of that European connection, but I think Kristaps, he just has to stay healthy. And hopefully with time, he does remain healthy, because when he is healthy, he's one of the better players in the league. And Kevin Durant even called him a unicorn. And that's exactly what he is. If he can get that mobility back, he can become one of the better defenders like he was in New York, and we'll see what happens there.